In this look at QEDWiki, we're going to take a step back to see what makes QEDWiki tick, and then we'll look at a demonstration of how QEDWiki can be used to connect multiple web services from across the internet. First, I should say that QEDWiki stands for Quick and Easily Done, and that it's a mashup maker currently being developed and evaluated by the IBM Emerging Internet Technologies Group. The three fundamentals of QEDWiki that you should know are: it's a mashup maker, it's wiki-based, and it runs in a browser. Now let's break down those fundamentals to see what they mean. As a mashup maker, QEDWiki provides a canvas for mashing content from different sources to create a situational application, an application you can pull together quickly to fit your current needs. Later in this video, I'll show you a demonstration of what it really means to mash content. Being wiki-based means that, along with being a mashup maker, QEDWiki provides you with all of the benefits you normally associate with a wiki, like editing, commenting, publishing, email, and collaboration. It's also important to mention that QEDWiki is the tool for both creating and using the situational applications. And lastly, QEDWiki runs in a browser. Using the latest Web 2.0 technologies like Ajax, QEDWiki provides a rich, interactive user experience that feels more like a desktop application than a web page. When we talk about using QEDWiki to create a mashup, we break that down into three pieces as well: assemble, wire, and share. In the assemble phase, a subject matter expert uses widgets to create new utilities. We'll take a look at widgets when we get to the demonstration. When it's time to wire, that's when users mash rich content from different sources to create new ways to work with just the information they need. They can also change the behavior and relationships between widgets to create those rich interactive applications. When people start sharing is when you really start to see the business value of a mashup. After a user wires together a mashup, they can send a link to other people so they can use the mashup. And when the others have ideas on how to make the application better, the Wiki Foundation of QEDWiki enables multi-user collaboration so the application gets better the more people use it. Well, since a demo is worth 1,000 words, let's take a tour of QEDWiki and see how to create a simple mashup. As I mentioned earlier, QEDWiki runs in a normal web browser without any special plugins. So for this demonstration, I'm using Firefox. To start creating my mashup, I'll simply select New Page and then select the layout I want to use. Now that I've got my page layout in place, I'll enter Assemble mode and begin to add some content. In Assemble mode, you can see a drawer that contains some of the widgets I'll use for my mashup. Also, you can see by the way the interface reacts why I said it feels more like a desktop application than a web page. The first widget I'm going to use is a simple list. This is just a list that contains some contact information for some salespeople. When I drop the list into the top cell of the mashup, you can see that it just contains name, phone number, and zip code of the employees. Now the list I just grabbed came from a database, but it could have come from something as simple as a text file or some XML. For my next widget, I'll open this drawer and drag the SMS widget onto the canvas, which connects me to a web service from a company called StrikeIron. Now at first, this widget appears to be a non-visual item, but when I look back at the employee list, I can see there's a small telephone icon next to the phone numbers. What happened is, when I dropped the SMS widget on the canvas, QEDWiki introduced it to the employee list widget. It interrogated the list, found what it believed to be phone numbers, then it added the icon next to the numbers. Now, if I click the icon, you'll see that I have the ability to send an SMS message to the employee simply by typing the message and clicking send. Now the next widget I'll access, it's in a different way. This icon isn't in my palette drawer, it's out on the internet. Here in Firefox, I have another tab open. So I'll click on the tab and you can see that I've brought up a web page from a website called Programmable Web. Programmable Web contains literally hundreds of APIs and over 1,500 mashups for people building Web 2.0 applications. The particular widget I'm going to use is called Edit Grid, and it's essentially an online spreadsheet. Now, to add Edit Grid to the mashup, I'm going to click on a Firefox extension from QEDWiki. The extension lets me see my mashup on the top half of the page and the Edit Grid page right below it. When I click on the Edit Grid icon, its page disappears and my mashup comes back to full screen where I can drag the Edit Grid widget onto my canvas. To tell Edit Grid what spreadsheet to display, I'll edit the widget's properties to add my username, the name of my spreadsheet, and voila, my spreadsheet is displayed. To test the spreadsheet, I can change one of the values, and you can see that the graph updates automatically. Now remember, the spreadsheet's running on Edit Grid server. I'm just mashing it into my web page. As the page is now, I could put this graph on an executive dashboard so some sales VP could see it in real time from inside a web page. But instead, I want to make the information available to the field sales force on their cell phones. To do that, I'm going to add this SMS Sync widget to the mashup. This widget connects to a service called 411 Sync, which is a RESTful application. By RESTful, I mean that it follows the principles of REST architecture, which is becoming quite popular on the web. As I mentioned, in this example I'm using 411 Sync, but because of the flexibility of QEDWiki, I could also integrate easily with our WebSphere Telecom Web Services server using WSDL, or Web Services Description Language. Like Edit Grid, I need to add a bit of information to allow SMS Sync to operate. I need to give it the name of the RSS feed where the information's coming from, which is Edit Grid, and the name of the spreadsheet I want to query, which is Sales. Now that I'm done with that, you can see that the SMS Sync widget is giving me a message telling me that if I send an SMS message to this number and I put the word sales in the message, SMS Sync will send my cell phone the contents of the Edit Grid spreadsheet. Now the field salespeople can use a telephone from anywhere and get live information about their current sales. The number of uses for QEDWiki mashups is limitless. But those that I've done before, they were all browser-based applications where the user interacted directly with a web page. What's different about this application is that I don't have to be in my browser to use it. I can close my browser, walk away, and the functionality is still there. A salesperson can pick up their cell phone, call, and get their current sales information. QEDWiki was simply used to assemble and wire the connections. Then we step out of the way and let the application run. One last note before I close. I've heard some confusion over Web 2.0 and SOA, like does Web 2.0 replace SOA? And the answer is no. Mashups like this don't replace SOA, they put a face on it. Those services I used, like the one from StrikeIron, they were web services provided to me because StrikeIron built upon a service-oriented architecture. They positioned themselves perfectly to feed information to situational applications. The services I use, they can come from anywhere, but a service-oriented architecture makes it easier for me to use Web 2.0 to create on-the-fly integration. With QEDWiki mashups and Web 2.0, we're bringing people into the people, process, and information vision of SOA. As I said earlier, this is just one of many uses for mashups created by QEDWiki. To learn more and to download a copy of QEDWiki to try for yourself, please visit our website at services.alphaworks.ibm.com/QEDWiki.